Welcome back. This is the South African Morning. Now, the port of Durban has gradually resumed operations. This after deadly floods forced it to close. The port is the busiest in sub-Saharan Africa. It handles about 60% of the country's shipments and transport of goods to countries in the SADC region. Now, for more on this, we're now joined by the Managing Executive for KZN Ports, Mr. Moshe Motlohi, who joins us this morning. Thank you so much for your time, Moshe. Good morning to you. Let's first talk about the impact these floods have had, I suppose, on, KZN-based ports, so that we can understand and perhaps even quantify, the extent of this impact.
Good morning, Tumelo. Thanks for having us. Let me start with the last part of quantification of the impact. We have not yet determined as to the extent of the impact. All we know is huge because it has indeed caused some disruptions. But the good news is that, as you are summarizing, we are back in swing. We have averted a crisis that would have affected several sectors of the economy, e.g., we were able to come with a quick plan in as far as the fuel transportation is concerned. We started off with about 200 trucks in a day. So, right now, we have moved.
Yes, Moshe, continue.
Right now, we have moved to 750 trucks in 24 hours time, which is a great performance indeed. Even the area that was washed away for the Bayhead Road, which links to the container terminals, we were able to rescue that within 36 hours of us having had problems. We are not at 100% full swing in it. We have opened a dual carriage that we're using. It as one lane each direction right now, just for a distance of about 30 meters to allow the trucks through. So we're able to handle about 70% of the usual traffic over that road, which is great news because now all cargo commodities that are in containers are able to be processed. We are looking at opening the second and the third lane, which is a temporal bypass road, by the 6th of May. And we're on track on achieving that. Once that is done, it will take us to the pre-storm situation. We will then be focusing on the main repair work of the area that was affected by the storm. That is going to take a couple of months to fix, but from a trading point of view, would be really good to go. We also did well in cleaning the harbour, which was inhibiting the movement of ships. We have, by and large, completed 95% of that. So the ship movement is not affected. We're able to bring the ships in and out of the port of Durban.
Right. With that being said, how long do you think, just estimation-wise, how long do you think it would take till we see full operation of the ports?
Look, from where I'm sitting, I think we're about maybe 2 weeks away because most of the cargoes, like the autos, they are running well, no impact. Containers, we're sitting at about 70%. We should then be, after 6th of May, be able to do that. However, I need to mention that the movement of the trains into the port from Johannesburg is still impacted, but we are having a short haul that we have introduced that runs from the port to the depots around the port. So we're wanting to encourage customers to consider using that, as it comes with some benefits, such as where we're starting to decentralize the pickup and collection points of cargoes instead of people going into the same area.
Moshe, I just want to know, in terms of, the strategy that was in place, I suppose, in boardrooms, once the KZN floods showed devastating impact, what was the strategy? What was the priority in making sure that you get to this point where we're gradually now seeing some movement and, improvements?
The first action really was to secure the plant itself, meaning the harbour, the lives of people who were there. That was priority number one. For us to do that, we had to convene what we call the BCP, Business Continuity Intervention, where we called every player in the room. And we made it broader this time, where we included even private players and said, let's put our heads together with provincial and national government and say, how do we do this? We did that stabilization first, or securing of the plant, where we ensured that no further damages were incurred and no people were hurt. Secondly was to prioritize now and say, with the limited options we had, which cargoes should be prioritized? In this case, we identified fuel as number one, followed by medical supplies and foodstuff. We then, together with the city of eThekwini, agreed to use a road that goes through bluffs to allow some traffic to attend to those. We also then had decided to appoint immediately 3 companies that were going to deal with the debris that was in the port. So we had sessions twice a day, in the morning to check the status and agree on actions of what needed to be done, and in the afternoon where we're tracking every 4 hours as to the progress made along those. We kept the lines of communication open with customers where we would be updating them. So that indeed worked well, to a point where we were able to invoke emergency procurement interventions for the Bayhead Road now, because we knew we could not use Bluff Road to service the other manufacturing sector, which is dependent on containers. We quickly then decided to stabilize the road that was kind of compromised within 36 hours, and we opened that. Now on that road, we are able to move in excess of 4,000 containers over 24 hours.
All right. Well, Moshe, I appreciate you speaking to us and giving us this update. And it's really good news to see that, of course, there is some progress and improvement happening there. And we appreciate your time, Moshe Motlohi from, of course, Transnet National Ports Authority, giving us that update in terms of the improvements and progress thus far in KZN, of course, due to those floods.